If you're wanting to get your first tech sales job without previous experience and you're wondering what the best way to do that is, you're at the right video. I'm going to be talking with Dre, and he was able to land his job in tech sales with no degree or previous experience working in tech. And he's telling everything on how he was able to get his job in just a few months. In this video, we're going to break down exactly what he did to land his first tech sales job and how you can do the same. Dre, glad to have you on here. Man, can you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you're currently doing in the tech industry?
Yes, appreciate you for having me, Trey. Yeah, so I'm currently in the sales field in the tech industry. I work as a digital sales consultant at Intuit, QuickBooks.
Yeah, QuickBooks. Everybody knows QuickBooks, especially if you're in business or something like that. So really quick, take us back, Dre. Take us back. What was your education background and your career situation like before you found Course Careers?
Yeah, so my education background, all I have is a high school diploma. That's it. Never went to college or anything like that. Right after high school, I went straight to the construction field. Wanted to pursue some of my dreams, so I got into fitness, started doing fitness training for a while, even made a business out of it, and hit a little slump. So had to pick myself back up, picked up a few odd jobs like Uber, photography, working at Amazon and stuff like that. Then I came across Course Careers and I was like, wow, this would be very, flexible for me to find a job that works remote. And it's also a great career industry that pays a lot. So I was like, yeah, let me jump in here. Let me see if I can get a good career going, especially in sales, being able to talk to people. I've always been able to do that. So that's what got me here.
Definitely understand that. And so something was there. I mean, you mentioned a few things that you did, or, before you found Course Careers. What were some of your biggest frustrations or challenges that you had in those previous career paths?
Yeah, definitely. So for construction, because that was like my first big career jump, right? Jumping out of high school. It felt like slave work. You out in the hot heat, me and you both, we in the DFW area, it gets hot in our summers.
For sure.
Degree weather. Sometimes, I remember one time it got 120 degrees. That was back when I was in high school playing football. But yeah, man, it gets hot out here and it also gets cold. So being out there, moving heavy metal, cutting metal every day, hanging up sheetrock, also making sure you're taking care of safety regulations. It can be quite hard. It can be quite hard if you're dealing with coworkers that's not as friendly. So that was the most frustrating part. I was making great money working construction, but it just felt like slave work. It felt like a dead end job that I was consistently going to. So I wanted to transition into something that was more flexible, like fitness. And I did that. Problem with fitness is, as much as I'm passionate about fitness, sometimes it doesn't really pay as much, especially if you don't know how to turn that into a business for yourself. I would say, we can go in a whole rabbit hole about that, but that's a big frustration is having that safety net of income coming in. A lot of trainers deal with that issue. And dealing with that for a couple of years, I ran into a lot of issues where, really couldn't pay my bills and stuff like that. So I had to end up moving back to Texas from South Florida because I ended up moving to South Florida for a little while. And when I moved back, I had to just pick up any job that I could take to have money to be able to pay for bills, be able to pay my cell phone bill. When I first moved back to South Florida, I didn't even know I was going to pay my cell phone bill. I didn't know how I was going to pay my car note, all that stuff. So I was really having to take dead-end jobs, like I said, like Uber, DoorDash, Amazon. Like I pretty much did it all, whatever I could do just to take care and make ends meet.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing, man. When you got a family and stuff like that, you definitely want to try and do what you can to make sure that everything continues to flow. And so I can definitely see the frustrations there. So what then initially attracted you to the tech sales field and Course Careers?
Absolutely. So it was actually Cyrus Harbin. I'm pretty sure
Okay.
my wife was telling me about him because she would always see him on Instagram. And then she sent him to me like, this probably be a great career for him to get into. And I watched almost all of his videos. I've been to watch all of his interviews, all of his videos that he posted up. And I was like, yeah, man, it would be cool to be able to work remote, be able to travel and actually get to work a career that's paying you good money and that you can move up a lot easy and fast. Because being in the tech industry, I'm sure Trey, like you can move up very quickly in this industry. And you can also branch out to other avenues as well. Say if you're business development representative, you can transition to maybe a sales engineer, you know? So there's just so many avenues in the tech space that you can take advantage of. So that's what got me into it. I discovered Course Careers through Cyrus Harvey, saw Troy's videos, and, you know, took advantage from it from there. Like, I was like, okay, my next Amazon check, I'm finna pay for this course and I'm gonna get in.
Man, no, that's awesome, man. Yeah, sometimes that's all you need to do is see someone else do it, and then like, "Oh, well, if they could, I know I can." So, you take that leap. So that's awesome there. And with that though, I'm pretty sure maybe that's why you were watching all the videos back and forth. But what were some of your main concerns or doubts that you had before you actually started the program, like before you paid?
To be honest, man, I really didn't have any. I was just like, I'm the type of guy that I just jump, man. Like, if it don't work, I forget it. I'm on to the next. Like, that's just really how I am. I'm a really entrepreneur spirit. So I'm not afraid to try things. Like, losing money to me is like, you know, I'll gain it back tomorrow. Like, I'm gonna find a way to gain it back tomorrow and try something till it hits. That's just how I go. I'm a
Yeah.
gunslinger.
Yeah, sometimes we need that mindset as well. When we're trying to do something different, it does take you doing something different, right? Instead of having those same results. So no, that's cool there. And okay, so if you didn't have any concerns or doubts going into it, how long did it actually take you to complete the course and then get a job in tech sales?
Of course, it doesn't take you that long at all. It didn't take me that long. It took me about 2 months, and I was even working a job. I was working in Amazon, and I was also doing Uber after I got off work and on the weekends, right? So, you know, easily I was working 50 to 60-hour weeks. And, you know, on those days I had off or whatever, I would just soak up as much as I can from Course Careers. I write down, take notes, and it took me about 2 months. Now, the hard part, I would say, is actually getting a job. You understand? Because that's where you really have to put the work in. You're really going to have to need to take the knowledge that you get from Course Careers and apply it to actually getting a job, because those skills that they teach you in Course Careers, where it is getting software like Apollo and using it and being able to reach out to recruiters and business development managers, like, you really have to use that in order for you to get the job. And then you also have to think about the job market. Like, I was getting in when everybody was getting laid off. So it was kind of hard to get a job at that time. So I ended up having to settle for a sales job at Hertz as a sales development customer service representative. And that's what I did for then. And I took that knowledge I learned there and ended up applying that to the same knowledge I was learning from Course Careers. And it took about 8 months ultimately for me to finally land that job.
Got you. So you're like, hey, you know what? Right now the market is a little bit different. It's a little shaky. So let me get the best sales job that I can get and get that experience and then parlay that into a tech sales role. Is that what you're saying you did? Yeah, sometimes you definitely have to do that so that you can get some of that experience and then be able to, like you said, relay that information that you learned to those companies so that you can get in. So that's awesome. And so you mentioned earlier on in the interview, like, hey, I was doing all these things. Could you share the difference between, what you were doing then and then what you make now being in tech sales?
Yeah, absolutely. So doing all those things, like, I would say doing Uber photography and Amazon work, I was making about like 60K, but I was actually making a lot more, but that's not profit. You understand? Like, what you write on that tax sheet ain't all yours. You gotta pay taxes, you gotta pay back into business. Like, it's a lot of, funds that you have to pay back. So that's what was making then, around six. Oh, but then now I make that same amount, but I get to work remote. I get great benefits. And, I also get, like, the other day, my job gave me a Uber car where I can go get food the other day. And I think that's cool. I think that's really lovely that you got a team that want to take care and appreciate you for being on it.
For sure, man. So somebody, it's crazy. Someone might hear that and they're like, well, he went from 60 to 60, but it's like you got to really be listening throughout this whole interview here. Like, you were doing quite a few things just to get to that 60, and now it's like, okay, not only did I get that time back, but I don't even have to drive to the the job now. I'm fully remote, right? So not only did I get that same amount, but I'm fully remote. I got more time for the family. I got a lot more things that I can get done just by making that one decision. So no, that's awesome right there, man. Plus, they giving you food cards, get it delivered, so now you don't even have to leave for lunch. That's awesome right there. So right now, I mean, I already know, but I gotta ask for the people. So how do you feel like now that you were able to complete that course, and then over time you were able to get a job in tech? Was it worth it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I would recommend anybody to do it. I would recommend people who don't know what to do straight out of high school. Definitely go through boot camps, because what a lot of people don't want to talk about sometimes, or maybe some people do, is that college is not really keeping up to date to how technology is flowing so quickly. Technology is expanding so fast. And the only people who are really keeping up with these spaces is your tech boot camps. They're the only people really updating the information so much, because for one, they're already in the field. And then two, they got to be able to give people the best product once they enrolling in these courses. They don't want to jump these people out in the field they don't know nothing about. Your boot camp, your courses, they're going to be your best bet in jumping in this space. And I would definitely recommend people to get that. You get time freedom, you get benefits, and then you're also in a great career space where you can expand and make easily over six figures or 200,000 in 3-4 years.
Man, that's awesome. Normally, I say that for the end, like, do you have any last words for the people? But I mean, you just gave it to them. If they don't see the value in that, I don't know. So what I'll ask then to finish this one off here, what are some of your career goals or plans now that you're in tech? You're in the industry, you're in tech sales. What are some of your goals that you have going forward?
So I started a YouTube channel, it's Dre with Tech. So I'm going to be making YouTube videos to help people get in the tech space as well. And then also, just expanding and expounding on my tech career space. I may venture out and do other things like being a software developer, or, someone who tests applications and stuff like that, or pretty much expound upwards on the ladder that I'm already on to an account executive, or, someone that's a vice president. So that's what I plan to do in the next 5 to 10 years.
Love that, man. You mentioned it earlier. A lot of people don't realize just going from the sales department and in tech sales, there are so many different roads and avenues that you can take in a company. A lot of times, if you look at even the CEOs of different companies, if you go back down their history, you'll see they actually came through the sales side, the sales team. So, that's awesome. I know you're definitely gonna do it, Dre. Again, appreciate you for hopping on with us. And yeah, man, you got this. Y'all, I hope y'all really heard what Dre was saying today. Take that to heart and go ahead and make that decision as well.
Appreciate you having me, Trey.
All right. If you want to follow in Dre's footsteps by going through the Course Careers Tech Sales course and landing your first tech sales job, I've included a link below in the description that's going to allow you to sign up for the free Tech Sales Introduction course. And that's going to teach you everything you need to know about what working in tech sales is like and how the Course Careers Tech Sales course works. And I'll also leave a link to Dre's YouTube channel as well. I'll see you in the next one.